Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So we have a whole lot of topics to get into today, including a special requirement for PlayStation games to include a trial. And we have some more games that are getting delisted, as well as some games losing some online support. We have those topics and more to cover. But before we get started, if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, consider subscribing. That's the best way to let me know you enjoy the content on this channel. Now let's get started. So if you remember when all the information came out about the new PlayStation Plus, and they have a premium tier that is supposed to have game trials in it. Well, this coming to us from GameDeveloper.com. Sony has begun communicating with developers about its plans for timed game trials for PlayStation Plus premium subscribers. According to sources speaking to Game Developer, developers working on games that cost $34 or higher are now required to create time-limited game trials of their games. These trial versions must be at least 2 hours long. Games that cost lower than these amounts are not required to create time-limited trials according to the new policy. Now, a little more detail about this. This is not going to be retroactive for games that are already out there, and this also does not apply to VR games. Now, this is just leaked information and we don't have a lot of details yet, but there are some wordings that I have questions about. This did say some developers, so I don't know if that includes every single developer or if they've just targeted certain ones. And supposedly, developers reportedly have up to 3 months after their game's launch to release a timed trial, and they're only required to keep that trial available for 12 months. Now, supposedly, Sony is open to accepting demos instead of the limited time trials, but that has to be approved on a case-by-case basis. And right now, there's no word as to whether Sony will have a way to manage those trials or if this is something the developer themselves have to completely do from scratch. I don't have much of a problem if Sony provides a way for the developer to upload their game and say, this is the trial version, and Sony manages that time restriction of 2 hours. But as of right now, it's not sounding that way. And I have to wonder what kind of strain this might create on developers to be required to create this 2-hour trial version. But I'm sure there's more information that'll come out about this, so I'll be sure to follow up if I hear anything. Next, there's some interesting information that came out about game preservation and PlayStation. This coming from VGC. PlayStation has set up a new game preservation team according to a new employee. Garrett Fredley, who had previously been working as a build engineer for Canadian mobile developer Kabam, has now joined PlayStation as a senior build engineer. Celebrating his new employment, Fredley posted a message on his Twitter and LinkedIn pages expressing his excitement at joining the new, quote, preservation team. Today is my first day as senior build engineer for PlayStation, working as one of their initial hires for the newly created preservation team. So to me, this seems obviously related to the PlayStation Plus premium tier, where they're planning to bring back catalogs of games to the service. But it does show that Sony is very serious about bringing those back catalogs over by setting up a dedicated team in order to handle this. We just recently got the leaks about Siphon Filter coming to the service, and hopefully we'll see Sony move on this pretty quickly. I think if they could fill out that back catalog of games, you'd get a lot more people interested in this service. Next, Sega announced that they're delisting Sonic the Hedgehog. Here's a look at the press release. Sega delisting Sonic the Hedgehog 1, 2, Sonic 3, and Knuckles, and Sonic CD on May 20th. Sega announced today that the company will delist the digital versions of the standalone titles that will be featured in the upcoming game Sonic Origins on May 20th, 2022. This will include Sonic the Hedgehog 1, 2, Sonic 3, and Knuckles and Sonic CD. There are a couple exceptions. Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and 2 will remain available via Sega Ages on the Nintendo Switch, and Sonic the Hedgehog 2 will still be playable via Sega Genesis on Nintendo Switch Online. Now, we've seen other games get delisted in recent memory. One I think of on top of my head is a whole bunch of the Metal Gear games got delisted from various platforms. And this is an obvious play by Sega to delist these other versions and make the Sonic Origins one the one that everybody has to buy. And I can see some possible reasoning for doing this from Sega. Mostly they don't want to add any confusion as to which version you purchase, but it's disappointing from a game preservation perspective. Now, if you already own any of these games, you'll be able to re-download them after the May 20th deadline. But if there's something you were wanting to get, you've got until May 20th to grab it. Next, it looks like the May PlayStation Plus games have leaked early. This is coming from a reliable leaker who's been spot on for several months now. So let's take a look at the games listed here. FIFA 22, Curse of the Dead Gods, and Tribes of Midgar. Now, this does mark the first time a FIFA game has been given away as part of PlayStation Plus. And let me know what you think about this selection of games. Are there any here that people should check out? Make sure to leave a comment below and let us all know. Next, we have a small update from Miyamoto himself. This coming from the official Nintendo of America account. This is Miyamoto. After consulting with Chris San, my partner at Illumination on the Super Mario Bros. Film, we decided to move the global release to spring 2023, April 28th in Japan and April 7th in North America. My deepest apologies, but I promise it will be well worth the wait. Now, obviously, production I'm sure was hampered by the lockdowns over the past few years. And in reality, if the movie market in December is going to be very packed, coming out in April would not be a bad idea. If you take a look at Sonic 2 that just came out, in just a little over 2 weeks, it's already done over 300 million worldwide and has become the top grossing video game movie of all time. So I don't think Nintendo was looking at Sonic and thinking, hey, we need to do what they did. I think they pretty much have an idea that this game's going to need a little more time to get finished and wouldn't be completely ready by December. And then finally, in our last bit of news, we've got some online services that are going to go down from Ubisoft. This coming from Ubisoft.com, the online multiplayer services for the titles listed below have now been shut down. The offline features for each game remains available. Now, as we scroll through this list here, and it's quite lengthy, pretty much most of these come from PC, Wii, Wii U, Xbox 360, PS3, but we do have 3 games that are on PS4 and Xbox One, which all of those games would be playable on the current gen systems. And I don't know if I missed an announcement anywhere, but this seemed kind of sudden. I'm not sure if Ubisoft announced ahead of time that they're going to be shutting these down, or it was just, hey, let's do it. I'm sure they had an idea of how much usage they were getting and said, well, who's going to really notice? But still, it would have been good to have some type of advance announcement in case you just need to do one more Just Dance 2014. And that's all we have for today. Did anything catch your attention? Do you think it's not right for PlayStation to push developers to create trials for their own subscription service? And is it disappointing to see Sonic games being delisted, or do you think it's kind of a moot point with Sonic Origins coming out? Let me know what you think about those or any of the other topics we covered today. I want to thank you for watching, and be good.